what happened to Tim Burton?
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Yeah, Tim Burton. I gotta talk about Tim Burton. Tim Burton was one of my all-time favorite movie directors. I loved him. I loved all his movies throughout the '90s. He had a couple like not so great ones, but they were few and far between. Like I loved Pee Wee's Big Adventure. It was a great directorial debut. Then he did the Batman movies that were fucking awesome. It was like the first like superhero movies to go like really dark and just really out there. Beetlejuice, probably one of the most like iconic movies to watch with the family on the Halloween season. Edward Scissorhands, what is such a unique and clever film with amazing performance and a different performance by Johnny Depp. Ed Wood, one of the best fictional biopics about the worst filmmaker of all time. Another great performance by Johnny Depp. It's a great movie about the passion of filmmaking. Then he did like Sleepy Hollow, a really great live action remake of kind of the Disney film, but also the old folk tale of the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman. Really great, brutal, like almost Hammer horror film. It was very homage to the Hammer horror films. Even in the early 2000s, he did a couple pretty good films. Like he did Corpse Bride, a really great stop motion animated film. He did Big Fish, a really different film about a father telling how he met his wife, but it's all very fictionalized and dramatized, and you don't know what's real and what's not. He did Sweeney Todd, which I think was his very last like truly great film. A great dark, just over the top violent musical. It's like a horror musical. Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Alan Rickman, all great in the movie. What a great show and a great movie. Like he was just knocking it out of the park with films and stuff. But then he just declined. And I mean really declined. Now when Tim Burton is like doing a movie, you're just like, oh god, like you're almost like terrified of what he's going to make because he's not making the stuff he makes. Like the Ed Woods and Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuices and stuff. Like those were like the movies we know him for. Like, and that's why people love him. He's got such a weird and like dark and gothic, creepy style about him. And it's just so like what is it though? There's a lot of reasons why the fall of Tim Burton happened. Like maybe people just got tired of that. People got tired of the gothic and the dark and the weird and stuff. Like, okay, that's old and tired. Give us something different. And when he gave them something different, they're like, this isn't Tim Burton. This is just feels like a Hollywood cash grab. Feels like you're just following a studio. So there was like no winning for Tim Burton. People were getting kind of tired of his dark and kooky movies, but people also didn't like when he did like mainstream movies. People hated Dumbo. I hated Dumbo. People hated Alice in Wonderland. I also hated Alice in Wonderland. He did Dark Shadows, which kind of brought him back to the Tim Burton feel, but no one gave a fuck about that movie. Plus, it was really bad. And then even when he did like a serious movie like Big Eyes, it wasn't that popular. I personally didn't even really like that either. It was just really weird tonally all over the place. And again, just people didn't give a shit. They did Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. She had to do like a straight kids movie. And again, no one gave a shit about any of these movies. And it just kind of looked like Tim Burton was just like going down the crapper. Like, and what started all this? Well, kinda Charlie the Chocolate Factory kind of started this.
The best kind of prize is a surprise.
I think like this is what kind of made him do more like mainstream movies and like movies about classics. Like this is when he started doing like remakes and stuff. He did the Dumbo. He did Alice in Wonderland. He did Dark Shadows, which is a remake of a television show. Like he even remade his like old short film Frankenweenie, which wasn't actually that bad of a film really, but he started like doing remakes of more mainstream films, and people just didn't really give a fuck. They're like, no, don't. I'm not liking this, and basically just said Tim Burton's like a has been now. Like he used to be good, now he just makes a bunch of shit now, and In a way, they're kind of right. But like, can Tim Burton return to the quality of his films? I say yeah. I really think he can return to what made him so unique and just what made the audiences fall in love with him. First off, he needs to do more original films, like original films. Not like movies being based off books or anything, his own unique ideas. Like Beetlejuice was a very unique idea. He even came up with the concept of Nightmare Before Christmas. Even though he didn't direct that movie, he did think of the concept and the characters. That's a very unique idea. Corpse Bride, a very unique and original idea. Edward Scissorhands, very original, very unique. Even the way he made a story like Ed Wood, visually and how the story is told is so different, unique, and how to do a fictional biopic about a filmmaker was so just innovated and original, and that's kind of what James Franco got a lot of inspiration from. The Disaster Artist is a lot from Ed Wood, and there's just a lot of he had so much creativity and so much ambition. I feel like all of that is just gone. Like Tim Burton doesn't have ambition anymore. He just kind of wants to pump out movies and that's it. Just get a paycheck. He's doing them all for the paycheck. Every movie Tim Burton does in the modern era, it just feels like a paycheck movie. He's not really putting in his effort and he's not putting his heart and soul into those movies. That's why I say Sweeney Todd's his last really great movie. I feel like he put his soul into that film, and that's why I felt it when I watched Sweeney Todd. I felt like Tim Burton put so much effort and creativity in that film, and that's why I think it worked the best. The rest of his movies were either average or just really bad. So he just became kind of like a Hollywood shell. He became just a Hollywood director who did studio movies, and it didn't do movies for himself. And that's the biggest thing that happened to him. And a lot of people are calling him like a has-been. He's not like a has-been. I feel like he can give us that old school Tim Burton. He just needs to go back to originality. He needs to give us weird concepts and weird ideas and just roll with them. And I know a lot of movie studios don't want to do that nowadays. The craze is superhero films. Like, gotta do a superhero movie or something that's a link to the past, because people want to see remakes. People want to see things from their past remade into the modern genre. Remake sequels in superhero films are like the big craze now, and that's not what made Tim Burton great. Him remaking and doing sequels is not what makes him who he is. People remember Tim Burton for his style and his storytelling and his unique ideas, and just they were so out there and so weird and gothic. Like, that's why Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands are like the top movies people really connect with the most, because it's so unique and out there. And I feel like Tim Burton can return. He just needs to, kind of just stop listening to the studios and again, make movies for himself. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Tim Burton can return? Do you think Tim Burton is just lost in, he's never going to make a good movie ever again? Or do you think he does have the chops and the potential to give us a really great film again? Give us another Edward Scissorhands or another Beetlejuice. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.